Okay, so now what you're seeing is imageviewer 2.0. I'm just going to relaunch the image viewer. Let it do its thing. Here's our image viewer window. I'll open the same image file from before. We'll get London. And here's our image viewer window blown off to the right because it's a long file name. And if I look at my filter, and there's my threshold, everything works as it did before. So there's no change in overall functionality. But the change is in the architecture and how easy it will be to extend the project. So now, instead of our image viewer needing to have threshold and all of that, instead of our filters being built into OF image, these filters now exist as subclasses of an abstract class called filter. So if we open up the filter class, it just defines what all filters need to have. So every filter has a name and can return that name, and every filter has to be able to apply itself. Now, what does it mean to apply a filter? Well, it's an abstract class because a filter can be anything, so there's no way for there to be any code here. It's the job of the subclass to implement apply. Just like in the creature board, it was the job of the subclasses to potentially make modifications to damage. Or in the simulation from chapter 12, the job of the subclass of an animal to implement what it means to act. So now we've moved the darker filter code out into its own subclass. And so applying the darker filter just means that you do this. Applying the lighter filter just means you do this. And applying the threshold filter, which we looked at in a little bit of detail last video, just does this. So this makes it much, much more modular, and that's the goal of this. That's the goal of this refactoring. So when it's time for the OF image, look now, OF image does not even need to know about any filter data because it's not its job. And the image viewer just knows that if it gets an object of type filter, that filter can be told to apply itself. So now this object doesn't even know what it means to be lighter or darker or threshold. Well, not entirely. There still is a small problem in that in order for it to be able to create the user interface, we do need to have that information right here. So we're going to try to pull that apart in later iterations of this project.